Hey guys! Today we're going to be taking a look at the Peak Design Everyday Zip Backpack, which is a very sleek and versatile daily and camera bag. And I've been testing this out for the past couple of weeks, and so far it's been a pretty good experience. In the past, we've taken a look at the Peak Design Travel Backpack and the original Everyday Backpack. And like those bags, this has a very great build quality, a nice look, and a lot of interesting and innovative features. With that being said, there are a few things that it leaves to be desired, so lots of stuff to walk through with this bag, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting out with the outside of the bag, the overall aesthetic is very minimalistic and modern. This actually reminds me a lot of the look of the Everyday Backpack. The biggest difference, of course, is the lack of the top flap and the metallic buckle, so it just has a little bit of a plainer look. And so I think this is going to work well for tons of different environments, whether you're walking around the city or even taking this into the office. And for most people, I think this look is going to be very appealing. For me personally, I'm a little bit torn. I think it's almost too plain. As I'm wearing this, I feel a little bit like I'm wearing a turtle shell, and then because the bag is so rigid and the different shape that it takes, it's just not really my personal preference. That is, of course, just my opinion, and I don't think that the bag looks bad by any means. As far as the colors, the version that you see here is the gray, but it's also offered in an all black, a navy blue, and a cream color, so really like the variety of colors that are available. As far as the material, the bag is made out of recycled 400D nylon that's DWR impregnated and TPU coating, which makes it feel very durable and weather resistant. So far, the bag has felt very sturdy. I don't always like this material as something like ballistic nylon. To me, it just doesn't feel like it's going to hold up quite as well if you happen to get caught in a downpour or something like that. But for the most part, I haven't noticed any staining or anything like that yet, and it'll definitely be something that I keep an eye out over the longer term. On top of that, the bag has really nice YKK zippers all throughout, and these all have a nice amount of protection to help make sure that all of the sensitive electronics on the inside stay protected from the elements. And so moving on to the capacity, the version that you see here is the 20-liter version of the bag, which is a really great daily bag size in my opinion. I'm easily able to fit all the items that I normally like to carry with me, and I really like that even when the bag is fully packed out, it really hugs my back tightly, so I'm able to move through crowded areas very easily. And then the bag is actually offered in two different sizes, so in addition to this 20-liter, there's also a 15-liter version, so if you have a smaller frame or a more minimal daily carry, that may be a good option to check out. Continuing along the outside, the bag has really nice handles on both sides and the top. The handles are very comfortable to hold and very well built. So on the side handles, you have this very thick seatbelt-like material that's very comfortable. And then for the handle at the top, it has the same seatbelt-like material on the bottom, but along the top, it also has this leather material here to give it just a little bit more of a stylish look. On the outside, I was also happy to see that there are two external water bottle pockets, and so I was able to fit the same water bottle that you've seen in all my other daily bag videos, and that fits in there pretty well. The compartment goes fairly deep, and it also has a decent amount of elasticity. I did notice that as I started to pack out the main area, it started to get a little bit more difficult to fit in my water bottle, so if you have anything thicker than the water bottle that I just pictured, it may be a little bit difficult to fit in here. On the other side, there's a very similarly sized water bottle pocket. One thing that I like about the compartments is that they're actually magnetically closing, so if you don't want them to stick out when you don't have a water bottle in there, they do hug the side of the bag nicely. And then in this compartment, included with the bag, is also this little keychain tether, which I really like. You can actually remove this. And then the system that Peak Design has here is just a very easy to remove. You press this button down, and then if you have your keys attached, you can easily remove them to get into your house or your car quickly, and then you can attach them very easily. Currently what I have here is just my Gerber dime multi-tool, but this is a really great system, probably one of the best that I've seen so far as keychain tethers. And then the last thing that I'll mention on the front is that the bag has these little loops all throughout the bag that pair with this included lash straps that are great for attaching larger items. So you can set these up on the front of the bag or the bottom if you want to carry something like a yoga mat or a tripod. You can also pair them on the side if you want to place your tripod in the water bottle compartment to just secure it a little bit more tightly. So really love that Peak Design's bags actually include these straps. We saw a similar system on the Wander Duo Day Pack that we looked at pretty recently, but one of the things against that bag is that it didn't actually include the strap. So this is definitely a nice bonus that Peak Design chooses to include these with their bags. Continuing on with these straps and the back paneling, this is unfortunately an area where the bag can definitely use some improvement. This is something that I've noticed with a lot of Peak Design's bags that I've tested out so far. There's just something about their straps that are never quite as comfortable as a lot of the other daily bags that we look at. And so the implementation here seems like it should be good. There's a nice amount of padding. It's fairly thick. On the inside, this material isn't super breathable, but it does feel like it might prevent moisture from building up. And then the straps are pretty narrow, which may lend to some of the uncomfortableness that I've been feeling, so they kind of tend to dig into my shoulders when I wear them with a lot of weight. And overall, even though they're stiff and well padded, they just don't feel too comfortable in my opinion. This may be something that gets better over time as these straps break in more, but with my experience with Peak Design straps so far, that just hasn't been the case, and it's something that I hope that they continue to work on in future iterations of their bags. On the strap, there's also an adjustable and removable sternum strap that you can attach with this metallic clip, and it's very easy to adjust. Unfortunately, this sternum strap I've never felt has been very comfortable as far as actually providing too much additional support. It tends to just kind of dig into my shoulders a little bit, so I normally just don't end up using it. I do like, however, that you can kind of attach the clip here if you don't want it floating around. The last thing that I'll mention on the straps is that they do have these nice hinges that allow the straps to rotate very easily. As cool as this mechanism is, I'm not entirely sure how much this actually benefits the comfort of the bag, but it does make it very easy for the straps to kind of move around. And then moving on to the back paneling, this has been a little bit more comfortable. There's a nice amount of padding here. It also has some ridges and some breathable material to help prevent moisture from building up as much throughout the day. There isn't a whole lot of elevation, so my back will still tend to get sweatier if the bag is feeling very heavy, but it is nice that there is some elevation. I don't understand why the padding here is so narrow. I kind of wish that it had come out a little bit more to just provide some extra protection, but for the most part, the back paneling has done a pretty good job of offering a nice amount of comfort. While we're on the back paneling, a nice additional feature is that it has this luggage pass-through so that you can rest this on your suitcase while you're walking around the airport to save some weight from your back. And then the last thing down here near the bottom is that there's this little hidden sleeve, which I'm not entirely sure what that's supposed to be. It doesn't have any sort of security here, so I wouldn't want to place a sensitive item such as a passport or a wallet. I do feel some Velcro here on the back of it, but I do wish that this had been more of a zippered compartment if it's meant to be a security area. Jumping into the organizational areas, the bag keeps things pretty simple as far as external access. The first area that we're going to take a look at is the laptop area, which has this top loading area here with a well-protected zipper. So opening this up, one thing that I'll mention about the zipper is that you don't have the ability to lock it, which is a little bit unfortunate considering that you'll have a lot of expensive electronics in here. And so jumping into the compartment, it's divided into a few different sections. So starting up here near the top, this is the closest thing that the bag has to like a quick access top compartment. And so there's a little bit of space here that you can use to store some of your electronic items. And so jumping in, the first thing that I have in here is just a lightning cable to charge my phone. And then on the inside, there's two simple slip pockets that have a nice soft material. I really like this for sensitive items. It's going to prevent them from getting scratched up. And so the first thing that I have in this one here is my Samsung T5 portable hard drive. And then in the compartment next to that, I just have my Apple AirPods Pros. So just a simple amount of organization here and a decent amount of space. But one thing that I noticed about this compartment is that it does share space with the main area. So if you put anything too bulky, it is going to create a bulge in the other main compartment. And so moving behind that area, there is a simple sleeve where you can store a tablet. Currently what I have in here is my iPad mini, and that fits in there very easily. You can definitely store up to a full-size 10-inch tablet in here very comfortably. This sleeve right here is not super padded. It is magnetized, so it does just kind of close against the compartment for when you don't want to use it or if you have a smaller tablet to just make it easier to get into the laptop area. So I do wish that this had offered just a little bit more padding. And then moving into the laptop compartment itself, plenty of space and protection here. Currently what I have in here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro, but you definitely have enough space in here for up to a 15-inch laptop. And a nice thing about this area is that it's actually adjustable. So the compartment is elevated off the bottom of the ground, which is great so that if you happen to drop your bag, your device is going to be very well protected. But it's also nice to have the ability to adjust it depending on the height of your laptop so that you can reach down and grab it a little bit more easily. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. A decent amount of padding overall. And then as I mentioned earlier, it has this flap that you can pull up that allows you to adjust the height of the compartment if you happen to have a taller device. And then it does come up a decent amount, so if you have a thicker laptop, it should be able to fit okay. But one thing that I noticed is that this compartment starts to feel very tight the more that you fill up the main area. So you'll have to be a little bit strategic in how you fill this out. And so before jumping into the main area, one thing that I wanted to mention about the zippers is that they do have the ability to kind of lock, so you can loop them around each other. They have this system here that makes it easy to just kind of open and close them. So it does add some deterrence for pickpockets, but overall it's never going to be quite as secure as allowing you to actually use a lock on these zipper pulls. And so speaking of this zipper, the system that this has is very similar to the infinite zipper that we saw on the Wander Duo Day Pack. And so this is really great to use. It provides you all sorts of access and flexibility to how you can get into the bag. So if you want to open it from the top, very easy to do so. And then you also have the ability to pull up from the bottom and get side access. So if you have camera gear, it's going to be very easy to be able to just swing the bag around and reach in while you're still wearing it. And then if you want to lay the bag down flat so that you can easily organize all your stuff, you can do so as well. So I'm a big fan of these types of systems. I definitely think that it gives you a lot of versatility, and it just makes it a lot easier to use the bag while I'm running around throughout the day. And so for the purposes of this walkthrough, I'm gonna go ahead and just open it up completely so you can get a clear look at the main compartment. And so I really like that you can open it up this much, so it makes it very easy to just see everything that I have in the bag at once. And the first thing that you'll probably notice as I open this up is that I'm actually not using the Flexfold dividers that are so popular in Peak Design's bags. So this is what gives you a lot of internal organization and flexibility. And these dividers are gonna be awesome to use if you carry a lot of camera gear, or if you're a little bit more OCD with how you organize all of your stuff. And so they're very durable, they're very easy to just kind of configure in different directions. You can attach them with Velcro to the ends of the bag. For me personally, I'm not a huge fan of this system. I just like to organize all of my stuff in pouches, and it just doesn't really fit well with the items that I normally like to carry with me. So for example, my GoPro is kind of small, so this doesn't really kind of stay up when I place my GoPro inside. It just kind of falls out. So for me, this system has never really worked that well, just because I don't carry too much camera gear. But however, it's nice that you can just fully remove these and then just use the bag normally. And so plenty of space in this main area. Even with the items that I normally like to carry with me, there was still some leftover space here at the top if I wanted to toss in a lunchbox or a jacket. And so one thing that I did notice about this bag is that it's a little bit more rigid than some of the other daily bags that we've looked at. So even though it gives you plenty of space, the space that you do have is pretty fixed. It doesn't give you much flexibility if you happen to place something in here a little bit bigger, or even if the bag is a little bit emptier, it's not gonna sink down. It's really pretty much gonna look the same all the time. And so jumping into the items that I have here, the first thing that I have is my Beats Studio wireless headphones. Next up, I have my Able Carry stash pouch, which has a lot of my smaller tech accessories. And then I have a full-size moleskin notebook. And then I also have this book that I've been rereading for work, Lean UX, fantastic read. If you haven't, I definitely recommend you check it out. And then I also have a simple folder to hold my receipts and papers. And then the last item that I have in here is my Levitate portable standing desk. And so now with the compartment empty, you can see on the back, it has this material here, which is where the Velcro hooks onto for the dividers that I was showing. And then you can also get a feel for the volume of that quick access compartment that's in the laptop area. So once this fills out, it sticks up quite a bit, so it does eat up some of the space in this main area. In my case, I chose to keep this a little bit emptier just to give myself a little bit more space here at the top. And so one thing that I really like about being able to fully remove all of the dividers and open the bag up like this is that it does give you some flexibility in packing larger items. So I was curious if I would be able to use this for a quick weekend trip. And so I was able to place my double-sided compressible packing cube from Arkedo here pretty comfortably. And so zipping the bag up, it still leaves me some leftover space if I wanted to toss in a pair of shoes or a dop kit. I did struggle to fit in an extra packing cube. It started to get just a little bit too bulky, but for the most part, I was actually pretty impressed with what I was able to fit considering the sleek look of the bag. Continuing on with some of the internal organization on the flaps, there's two simple slip pockets at the top. Each side kind of has an identical layout. And so starting off with the one on the left here, it has these magnetic closures, which I really like to help keep whatever's in the compartment inside. And so in this one, what I currently have is my BluePop portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank. And I really like the material of these compartments. It's really soft and also fairly elastic. So if you have something a little bit bigger, it should be able to fit in there okay. And then moving down along to the bottom, there is just one additional zippered compartment. And this one has plenty of space for holding something like my Apple Magic Mouse. I would also be able to fit a GoPro in here. So really like that this has some volume here, and again, some elasticity due to the material. And then on the inside of this compartment, there's just two smaller slip pockets on the inside. They're gonna be great for holding something like a memory card or a battery if you have a lot of camera gear. Moving on to the other side, a very similar layout here. In the compartment near the top, what I have is my Ray-Ban sunglasses with their case. They fit in there pretty easily, but they don't allow the compartment to close. And then moving down to the bottom, another small zippered compartment here. Again, plenty of space if you have something a little bit larger. I didn't have too much more to add to the bag, so I just used this to store some of the smaller accessories that I carry with me, such as a small nail clipper. And I also have a stylus in here because on the inside, there are some smaller slip pockets just like we saw on the other area. And then the last area that we're going to talk about is the flap to the main compartment. And the only thing here on this side is just another very simple quick access compartment. Same mesh material that we've been seeing in all the other areas. A decent amount of space here. What I currently have is just my GoPro Hero 3 Plus, but this would be a great spot for maybe something like a portable battery or a mouse. So just lots of versatility in all the organization offered in this main area, and really like the amount of capacity and versatility in how you can access everything. So a very great durable design here, lots of flexibility, and it's going to work great great if you're looking for something that's gonna give you a lot of different options for how you can organize your stuff and that you're gonna be able to carry a lot of camera gear with you throughout the day. And so to wrap up, it's been a pretty good experience testing out the Peak Design Everyday Zip over the past couple of weeks. The bag has a really solid build quality, lots of great features. I really love all the flexibility that you have with how you can organize everything, but unfortunately it does leave a little bit to be desired with the harness system and the implementation on some of the storage options. And so you can currently purchase this on Peak Design's site or Amazon for about $220. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, this is the 20-liter version of the bag. So if you prefer a smaller bag, or if you want to save a little bit of money, the 15-liter version is available for around $190. And although this can seem like a bit of an investment, it does feel like you're getting a really solid build quality and amount of features for the price point. And I also think this compares well to other similar bags in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, one of the first bags this made me think of was the Wander Duo Day Pack, which we looked at pretty recently. And that's been one of my favorite new daily bags to check out. It's very comfortable to wear. It has a great build quality, lots of weather resistance, and it has a very similar full access system such as this, so you can get into the bag from any direction. And personally, I like the organizational layout in that bag a little bit more. It just feels like the pockets are a little bit easier to use. And for me, since I don't carry a lot of camera gear, I think that the pop-up cube in the Duo Day Pack is a little bit simpler than all the different flexible dividers that this bag has. So if you don't need to carry as much camera gear with you on a daily basis and you're just looking for something with a similar style, the Duo Day Pack is going to be a great option to take a look at. The next bag this made me think of was Peak Design's Everyday Backpack, and so I've only taken a look at the original version of the bag. The newly released version seems to have some nice improvements, but for the most part, it seems to maintain a lot of similarities with the original version, so I do feel comfortable comparing them. And the biggest difference to me is just that the original Everyday Backpack and the new version have kind of that flap magnetic opening that gives you a lot of top access, and so it's a little bit of a different aesthetic. For the most part, the bags seem to have a lot of similarities, and so if you're looking for a bag with all of the same features that this bag has, but you just prefer kind of the more classic look that that top loading magnetic latch gives, then that's going to be a great option to check out. Another bag this made me think of is the Boundary Supply Errant Pack, which has been one of my favorite daily bags. It's very comfortable to wear and has a great build quality, a really interesting look, and a lot of great organizational options. That bag is also going to come in at a lower price point, so if you're looking for a durable bag that's not going to have all the same flexibility for camera gear as this one, but still gives you a lot of value for your money, the Boundary Supply Errant Pack is going to be a great option to keep in mind. The next bag this made me think of is the Nomadic Travel Pack, which has been one of my favorite kind of all-purpose bags. That one has a really great build quality, lots of weather resistance. It comes in at a similar price point to this, and it has the benefit of being able to expand and compress to not only be a great daily bag, but also work for traveling. And so that one also has some nice additional benefits, such as a removable waist belt, and it has a similar full access system to this. So if you're looking for something that's going to give you just a little bit more capacity and flexibility for travel use, that's going to be one of the best options to check out. The last bag that I'll mention here is the North Face Caban, which is just a really solid daily bag. It has a very similar aesthetic to this in my opinion. A lot of great weather resistant, plenty of capacity, and some nice organizational options. That one also had a really solid build quality, and it came in at a little bit of a lower price point, so if you're looking to save a little bit of money and you like the overall style of this bag, that's going to be another great option to check out. With all that being said, despite the drawbacks that I mentioned throughout the video, the Peak Design Everyday Zip Backpack still holds up pretty well against all those bags, and if you want something that looks really modern, has a great build quality, and is going to give you the most flexibility for carrying a lot of different camera gear, this is going to be a great option to check out. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think of the Everyday Zip Backpack, and if there are any other bags like this that you think I should feature in the channel. As always, please let me know in the comments. And if you guys found this video useful, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and thank you guys so much.